three of the opening weekend was OL Reign versus North Carolina Courage, two big names within the NWSL universe. This was a scoreless draw. Romel has his OL Reign shirt on, so I will begin this breakdown real quick. I think these are two teams that are, of course, ready to welcome back American exports in Rose Lavelle and Sam Lewis. And of course, that'll bring in its own level of excitement when they join the teams on the pitch. But as of today, as of the game that was played on the weekend, I think it was a very, to some extent, a cagey game, but also to some extent, a game that saw chances in spurts, right? And we had moments of brilliance. I think Jess Fishlock was very good in creating chances. But of course, on the flip side, she had an open chance that I think Haley Mace was the defender who really tracked back well, made it a crucial save, and the ball was, sprayed wide. So I think it comes down to these players showing up in those big moments. Megan Rapinoe hit the post when it, I think, was late 70s or something like that. So I think there was just not that final clinical edge that, could get one of the teams over the line. Both goalkeepers in either goal had a tough game and had a game that, was respectable. I think they'll really go back from this, remembering this game as one of the good performances. Karen Bardsley in the rain goal made a couple of good saves and distribution was good. I think many times goalkeepers can make a save, but they also need to look up and see whether to wait and pass the ball or whether to quickly, kick it up the field. And yeah, I think those smaller decisions will again impact the game when it comes to scoring ultimately. But unfortunately, in this opening weekend, we did not see any goals from both teams. I think, look, overall, it was a game that I would go back and look at the highlights to see, which team really had the edge. I'm not sure I can tell at this moment, but I think both teams will take this as a sort of a springboard going into their regular season. And a point versus such a big team, both teams are big. So taking a point away from this matchup, I think would be okay. Although next time they meet, I'm sure they both will want 3 points, nothing doing. So yeah, that's my quick roundup of this game. Romel, what did you make of it?
I do have some good points also, but please give us your player of the match.
Oh, of course. Look, I think up top, I think Kristen Hamilton had a good chance in the forward line, creating some individual brilliance. But I think I will give it to Karen Bardsley only because just facing a top three of the North Carolina Courage and making a big save that ultimately results in a boost in confidence for her, for the backline, and for the OL Reign. And being a new entrant into this league, we have doubts about when Sarah Buhari comes in, what happens there. I honestly think she's really making a great case for her to stay in that playing 11 every time she steps on the field. And for that reason, Karen Bardsley was my favorite match. Over to you.
So yeah, this is the Rain versus NP game, and I think as a Rain fan, I was actually pretty disappointed with the game that we sort of came out to play. There are a lot of Rain fans that I've seen on forums and across the interwebs where they really talked about how the Rain did pretty well against like a top team like the NC and stuff, and I think that's where I see a problem because for me, I don't think this the team that the NC team that we faced the other night wasn't really the NC team that we know. The really dangerous one. Where you've got these. It's an all-out attack, and of course, and that used to be a standard at one point, but I don't think it is anymore. I think the standard today is definitely a team like the Portland Thorns or maybe even Gotham, for example. And if anything, I think the Courage are probably at best a top three team rather than being actually the standard now. So what we're essentially saying is that the Rain came out against a mid-table team and actually just couldn't manage to outshoot them. So this I think really is a little scary going into the season, and I hope that maybe whenever the big guns come in, with Marja, with Buhari, for example, Lesomnia, I think we probably might have the edge. But again, I don't see why Given the fact that we've had this coach for such a long time now, and he's had this core team to play with, and it's not that any of them are, any in any case shoddy, in terms of their quality. So to actually see a team come out and struggle time and time again is really laughing at the bare minimum. I think we really need to do better. So, but yeah, given that, I think it was still a good match. Um, I think we came out really shaky, and see, to begin with was all over us. Like they had a shot of the second minute, so it was just like the crossbar that saved us.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's how this setup and how we were really floundering. We didn't really have a plan. So in a way, when we saw sort of City having to come out for an injury, and Amber Brooks came in, Hammond moved out to the flank, and it was Brooks in that center position. So I think that actually gave us a little more balance going forward, because you could see, I think Hammond did have a little more confidence, sort of, going that much forward and attacking the ball, and she really did well on that night. But again, I think what happened was that we saw a whole bunch of these shifts where we got possession for a while, and but I think around the 55th minute, um, I think Havana Salon really stepped in. That's when that NC midfield turned really dangerous, and we were really struggling to sort of have answers to that. Yes, I think when Rapino came on, we looked a little more dangerous, but it was still I would say just the quality of the sort of possession and the quality of shots that NC had was probably a little more dangerous than what we had on goal. So I think we were kind of lucky to get away with the point here. And again, like I said, given that NC is no longer the standard, then I think that's really not the outlook that we need to have. I think we could do better. For me, the player of the match was Bishop. I think she again just showed her engine and her class on that pitch. I think Basri did a great job. There were a whole bunch of players who did really well, but again, I think that just in terms of reminding us who we are and what this team stands for, I think it was Fishlock all the way from. So yeah, that's my
Seems like both your team and my team are lucky to get a point from this weekend. Uh, we probably need to change that going forward.